this is Dorothy Jane Scott, and her family was tormented for years by the killer. The story of her disappearance is pretty strange. On the night of May 28th, 1980, Dorothy takes her and her two friends to the hospital because one of them had an emergency. They go in, they're waiting for hours, and by the time it's time to discharge them, Dorothy says, I'm gonna go to the parking lot, get the car, pull it out front, so that way when you guys walk out, the car's already waiting for you. Her friends do all the discharge paperwork while she's going to the parking lot, and they go and wait for Dorothy, and they see her car coming, but it's taking off, almost like it's gonna hit them, and at the last minute, it turns left and speeds out the parking lot. Her friends are confused as why she would do this at 2 in the morning. They keep calling Dorothy to figure out what she's doing, and she's not answering. They're starting to panic, and soon they file a missing persons report. And they're not just overreacting, because you see, there is a stalker that she had. This guy would constantly call her over and over and over again. In the beginning, it would start off sweet and innocent, more just him professing his love for her over and over again. But when she rejected him and didn't reciprocate that love, the conversations went from sweet and innocent to dark and horrific. He even got to the point towards the end of the conversations, he would tell her about the fantasies he had of kidnapping her and chopping her into little pieces. There was even a point where he said he had a present for her on top of her car. She goes and looks out the window and sees on top of her car was a singular dead rose. Now going back to her friends at the hospital, when the police finally arrive, they ask some questions, they give the police the background information I just gave you guys, and just a few hours later, at around 4 in the morning, they find Dorothy's car in the alleyway on fire. Just 1 week after her disappearance, on a Wednesday afternoon, her family would receive a call from the killer. He would tell her parents he knows what happened to her and would describe what he did to her, and eventually even told them that he killed her. He would completely torment her parents for 4 years, doing this every single day like clockwork, until April 1984, when the killer calls, and instead of the mom answering, it's the dad. And this time the killer doesn't say anything. It's completely silent, and he quickly hangs up the phone. The calls would stop until about a few months later, when in August a construction worker would say he found what looked to be like animal bones and maybe some human bones. Finally, Dorothy's remains were found, but the calls started again. The police tried to bug the family's phone multiple times, but the calls were never long enough to trace. To this day, they don't have a clue as to what happened